everyone. Today is a special holiday. I think you might all know, as I'm wearing green. Um, Today is St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if you celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Um, I don't really celebrate St. Patrick's Day as much anymore, but I used to celebrate it more when I was around your age. I used to have, I used to go and I'd hunt for like little gold coins sometimes with chocolate on the inside. Um, or wear green. I mean, I'm wearing green right now, but you know, this is about all I do. So the first book we're going to read is going to explain why we have St. Patrick's Day, right? Um, so this book is called Let's Celebrate St. Patrick's Day. You dress in a green shirt and green pants. Oh, I'm wearing a green shirt. I'm not wearing green pants though. I'm wearing red pants. Your classroom is decorated with green shamrocks, green balloons, and green leprechauns. Your teacher greets everyone saying, "Top of the morning, class. What day is it?" Oh, what day is it? It's St. Patrick's Day. It was March 17th. So they said shamrocks, which are these little things here, they're like three-leaved plants. Right. Why do we celebrate St. Patrick's Day? St. Patrick's Day is celebrated on March 17th. Oh, I just said that. Oh, it is a day to honor St. Patrick, who died on March 17th, about 1,500 years ago. Whew, a long time ago. All over America, there are parades, parties, and church services to remember him. Why? Because he was a well-loved man who helped spread Christianity through Ireland. Who was St. Patrick? St. Patrick was born in Britain around the year 385. His name was Maewyn Succat. His family was Roman and they were nobles. Many Romans lived in Britain a long time ago. Patrick's father owned farms and had servants. Patrick probably did not have to work in the fields or in the houses as he grew up. One day, when Patrick was 16, pirates from Ireland raided Britain. Patrick was captured and taken to Ireland. There he sold as a slave to an Irish chief named uh, Miliuk. My Irish is not very good, or Celtic. Miliuk sent Patrick to take care of his sheep. Shepherds spent their many days, many lonely months caring for their flocks in pastures far from town. For 6 years, Patrick spent a lot of time thinking and praying. One night, he had a dream in which an angel told him to run away. He walked 200 miles to the coast. Whew, 200 miles. I get tired after walking 2 miles, even 200 feet. Let alone 200 miles. Jeez. I mean, he must have taken a long time to do that. Anyways, he walked 200 miles to the coast, where there was a ship about to sail. Patrick boarded that ship, and his life was changed forever. All right, so there are some words there, right? A big one that came up here is Ireland and Britain. So here we have a map of Europe. So Europe is north of Africa. So Africa's down there, and then America's somewhere over here. China's like way over here, and Europe is here. Okay? So let's see here. This is Britain, this big island here. So this is the main part of Europe, and this is Britain, which is an island. And then next to Britain is Ireland, which is a smaller island, but it's still a pretty big island. So St. Patrick lived somewhere around here, probably around here, and then pirates took him here. And then they put him somewhere around here, and then he walked over here, and then he went back home. All right. Let's look up a little bit closer at Ireland. So here, again, this is Britain. So this is the main island. And then you have some smaller islands. This is the biggest island that isn't this island, right? And so that's where he was taken. All right. Oh, I can even show you on a map if I have one around here. Okay, so here we go. Here is 0. So we have where we live, right? We are here. And then if you go around, Ireland is here. Oh, here. The little pink and purple little thing. All right. So moving on. How did Patrick become a saint? The ship took Patrick to France, where he decided to become a priest. Oh, he went to France actually. Not back to Britain. Messed it up. So France is that green thing. Oh, this green thing here. So the ship didn't take him here. It actually took him all the way down there. All right. He would devote his life to God. He studied in France and spent some time in a monastery there. When he became a priest, he took the name Patrick. Then he went to Rome, where the Pope made him a bishop of the Catholic Church. The Pope asked Patrick to go back to Ireland. He wanted Patrick to tell the Irish people about Christianity. In Ireland, Patrick went to see the High King of Tara. After talking with Patrick, the king chose to accept Patrick's religion. Patrick spent the rest of his life preaching in Ireland. Many people joined the Catholic Church, and many churches were built. When Patrick died, the Irish people were very sad. For 12 days and 12 nights, people came to mourn him. One story says that the sun shone all 12 days. Patrick was made a saint, and his life and his works have been remembered ever since. Another name for St. Patrick's Day is St. Paddy's Day. Paddy is a nickname for Patrick. Do you have a nickname? No. I'll make sure that you're not getting the glare. People in Ireland speak 2 languages, English and Gaelic, which is an old Irish language. Éireann go bragh means Ireland forever. Every year, millions of shamrocks from Ireland are shipped to America. Shamrocks, right, for those little things with little plants with 3 leaves. They can also be called, some of them are called clovers, where, and some clovers have 4 leaves. Some have 3. Most have 3 leaves. It's really hard to find a 4-leaf clover. There are more Irish singers of the There are more Irish signers of the Declaration of Independence than from any other country. Oh, I didn't know that. All right. Well, let's go to that new vocab word that we heard, saint. Okay. So this is a picture of a saint. He kind of looks a bit like someone you might recognize, but we'll get back to that. So a saint is a person who, after they die, people who are Catholic, who liked what they did, will ask the church or their church to make them a saint. And there's a whole big process for becoming a saint. You have to be dead. You have to have died a while ago now. But once you become a saint, a lot of times they assign a special day for you. You're given different things are assigned to you. and you're sort of seen as uh, a person to, in some ways, pray to, right? So in Catholicism, which is a religion, like we talked about with Islam or Judaism, um, Catholics who practice, who do Catholicism, sometimes pray to saints, who are people like Saint Patrick, who did things that Catholic people thought were very good, right? Um, so they make them a saint. This here is Saint Nicholas, which is another name for Santa Claus. This isn't the same as Santa Claus, really. They kind of make Santa Claus is kind of changed. As you can see, Santa Claus usually doesn't ride a horse, he rides reindeer. Um, and Santa Claus doesn't usually have the staff and the hat, but it's kind of where Santa Claus comes from. All right, back to the book. What stories do people tell about St. Patrick? St. Patrick was so popular during his life that when he died, people added a little here and there to make him sound even better in the stories they told with their children and grandchildren. One story has to do with snakes. There are no snakes in Ireland. People say it is because St. Patrick drove them into the sea. Another story says that St. Patrick made grounded Ireland poisonous to snakes. If they touch it, they will die. The truth is that there were probably never snakes in Ireland, but the story of this good deed by St. Patrick has now become a popular legend. So no one's found any snake bones in Ireland yet. But sometimes stories are like that, where they mean something uh, different because they get passed along and little things about them get changed. But there also might have been snakes in Ireland. You know, just because we haven't found bones doesn't mean that there weren't bones. All right. So why do we celebrate St. Patrick's Day in America? Many years after Patrick died, the English ruled Ireland. They made many laws that were unfair. Irish children could not go to school. Irish people could not own land. Many Irish people were so poor that they had little to eat. Potatoes grew well in Ireland, and many families ate them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One year, a terrible disease attacked potatoes. They turned black in the soil. The plants died. No potatoes meant nothing to eat. Thousands of people died. There was not enough food for families to stay together. Um, they don't talk about it here, but something to remember is that it wasn't, it didn't just happen. The English government at the time, right, said that tried to make it so that Irish people couldn't get food other than potatoes. And then so, of course, when you only have one thing for food and that food goes away, then you don't have anything to eat, which is why today, for example, we eat a lot of different things, right? So if one day like um, there's a disease where it makes us so that we can't eat cows for a while, we're like, okay, we can eat, chicken or something. Um, but because the English government did not like Ireland and was not fair to Irish people, they made it so that it was very hard for Irish people to get food. All right. But in America, there was food and there were jobs. Many Irish families moved to America in the mid 1800s. So many Irish people came to America that there are more people in America with Irish relatives than there are in Ireland. So there's more Irish people, or people who have like parents or grandparents from Ireland or great grandparents, than there are people in all of Ireland. Right? A lot of people came. With them, the Irish brought their hero, St. Patrick. The Irish celebrated St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. When they came to America, they brought that tradition with them. How do Irish celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Ireland? In Ireland, St. Patrick's Day is a national holiday. Children have that day off from school. No mail is delivered, banks are closed too. Many Irish people go to church on St. Patrick's Day. It is also a time for family. Many families have special meals. They might eat Irish soda bread, Irish stew, cabbage, and onions. Friends might gather at the neighborhood pub to celebrate together. In 1995, the Irish government started the St. Patrick's Day Festival. The first festival was held in 1996 in Dublin, which is a city in Ireland. It's the capital of Ireland, like there's Washington, D.C. In the United States. The first festival was held in 1996 in Dublin. They have a big parade. There's music and dancing, food, crafts, and fireworks. The celebration lasts for 4 days. It's the largest annual celebration in Ireland. I don't know how much of that is still right. St. Patrick's Day is less of a holiday than it is in the US, is what I've been told. But I'm not from Ireland. I've never been to Ireland, so you'd have to see. But I've been told by people who are Irish that it's not as big of a deal, at least today. Yeah. How do we celebrate St. Patrick's Day in America? St. Patrick's is not a national holiday in America, but Americans everywhere celebrate the day. There's a saying that on St. Patrick's Day, everyone is Irish. I've never heard that. Well, I don't know who said that. Okay. There are a lot of parades in America on St. Patrick's Day. The biggest is in New York City. Bands march and play Irish songs. People carry Irish flags and banners. There are decorated floats. The parade passes in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral. Sometimes it lasts as long as 6 hours. The traditional meal in America on St. Patrick's Day is corned beef and cabbage. Might have had fascinating facts. The Chicago River is dyed green on St. Patrick's Day. It's a lot of green dye. I'd like to be someone who sells green dye on that day. I'd be really busy, here's a green dye, here's a green dye, because they have to turn the whole river green. The first St. Patrick's Day parade in America was in Boston in 1737. That's before America was a country. In 1780, General George Washington, the one who became the president, gave his troops the day off on March 17th. Many of his soldiers were Irish. If you don't wear green on St. Patrick's Day, traditionally people could pinch you. But today, if it's on St. Patrick's Day, you should definitely ask people before you pinch them. There is a Shamrock, a city or town called Shamrock in Texas. A monument there has an actual piece of the Blarney Stone. I wonder what's the Blarney Stone? There's a page. Okay, the Blarney Stone doesn't come up until way later, but keep in mind that the Blarney Stone is in here. Why is everything green on St. Patrick's Day? Ireland is often called the Emerald Isle. An emerald is a beautiful green jewel. Ireland has lots of rain. Grass, shamrocks, and trees grow very well all year round. The Irish countryside is a deep, lush green. Some people say there is no other green like Irish emerald green. Ireland uses the color green in its flag. Its flag used to be green with a yellow harp in the center. In the early 1900s, Ireland changed it to 3 stripes of green, white, and orange. Green stands for the Irish people. Orange stands for the English, who ruled over Ireland for so long. The white stripe in the middle is for peace between the two. So that's the Ireland, England, and then peace. All right. What is the 3-leaf clover a symbol of on St. Patrick's Day? The 3-leaf clover is called a shamrock. We just talked about that a little bit ago. The word comes from the Old Irish word siamrog, which means little clover. Legend says that St. Patrick used the shamrocks to explain Christianity. He said that one leaf stands for God, the second leaf stands for Jesus, and the, the third leaf stands for the Holy Ghost. The shamrock became a popular Irish symbol. Irish soldiers began wearing shamrocks on their uniforms to show how proud they were to be Irish. Once when the English Queen Victoria was angry at her Irish soldiers, she ordered them not to wear shamrocks on their uniforms. The Irish people were very angry that the Queen banned the shamrock. This made the shamrock even more popular as a symbol of Ireland. All right, now we're getting to something that you might have heard of. What's a leprechaun? In Irish folklore, a leprechaun is a small old elf who stands about 2 feet. So like, pretty short, not that big. Who stands about 2 feet tall. He will almost always be alone, perhaps because he is almost always bad-tempered. Irish folklore has lots of fairies in it, and when you hear enough of the stories, you will know that fairies are always dancing. The leprechaun's job is to make and mend the fairies' shoes. For this, leprechauns are paid with gold pieces. Leprechauns stole their gold in great big pots that are sometimes found where the rainbow ends. To catch a leprechaun, you must listen for the tiny tap, tap, tap of his tiny hammer. To catch him, you must tell him you will hurt him. Then he must show you his pot of gold. Beware, if you take your eyes off of the leprechaun, even to blink, he will disappear. I heard this one story about a leprechaun, and someone saw and he caught a leprechaun, and he asked the leprechaun to show him where his gold is. And when you catch a leprechaun, they can't lie to you, right? So he goes off and the leprechaun shows him where he buried the gold. And so the guy, right, he's like, okay, where is it's there? And he's like, yeah, underground. So you have to like get a shovel and dig. And but the guy doesn't have a shovel. So he has to go back and get his shovel. Before he does that though, he puts a little handkerchief on the place where the gold is buried. And he says, all right, you have to promise me that you won't move or destroy or touch this handkerchief, right? While I go get the shovel. And the leprechaun said, okay, I won't touch the handkerchief. And so he goes away to get the shovel, and he comes back, and the leprechaun is gone. And in the field, there are thousands of these handkerchiefs. So he doesn't know which one is his, and he doesn't know where the pot of gold is, right? So why did leprechauns jump up and let's see. These are just a whole bunch of some puns. I'm not sure if they hold up too well though. What is the Blarney Stone? All right, so we remember that a piece of the Blarney Stone is in Texas, right? So what is the Blarney Stone? Kissing the Blarney Stone is something tourists do when they visit Ireland. It is a stone set in a wall in Blarney Castle. Why would people kiss it? Legend says that this stone has a magic spell on it. According to the story, an old woman put a spell on the stone to thank the king of the castle for rescuing her. All the king had to do was kiss the stone, and he would be able to charm people into doing exactly what he wanted. This was a great gift. The word Blarney has come to mean nonsense or empty flattery. There's a town in Ireland called Limerick. That is also the name of a silly 5-line poem. To write a limerick, make the last word in the first, second, and fifth lines rhyme, and the last word in the third and fourth lines rhyme. Here's one for you. Okay, let's have the limerick. There once was a leprechaun named Ted, who did not want to get out of bed. My clothes are all green, that's all I have seen. Just once can't I wear something red? And then here we have, that looks like a Christmas elf. I'm not sure if it is. All right. Here are some famous the most famous poet who wrote limericks was Edward Lear. Here are some of his limericks. All right. There once was an old man of Kilkenny who never had more than a penny. When he spent all that money in onions and honey, that wayward old man of Kilkenny, there was an old man with a beard who said it is just as I feared. 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have all built their nests in my beard. Oh, some birds built their house in his beard. That kind of freaked me out. All right. Well, we have one more book, and then we can get on to our craft. This book is called Jack the Leprechaun. Jack and the Leprechaun. Jack Mouse was invited to a very special St. Patrick's Day party. It was far from his home. Welcome to Ireland, his cousin Sean said. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Jack was happy to be there. He'd come a very long way. There will be music, dancing, and lots of food at the St. Patrick's Day party, said Sean, and there will be plenty of new things to see and do. Maybe if we're really lucky, someone might even catch Liam the Leprechaun this year. Who's Liam the Leprechaun? Asked Jack. Every St. Patrick's Day, Liam the Leprechaun appears with a pot of gold in one hand and a stout oak club called a shileo. Shilela, said Sean. If someone catches him, he has to give them his pot of gold. But nobody has caught him yet, so keep an eye out, cousin. Okay. When they got to the house, Aunt Bird and Uncle Fergal were very happy to see Jack, and so were all his cousins. Siad Mile Filt, they cried. That's Gaelic for 100,000 welcomes, explained Aunt Bird. Gaelic is the oldest language in Ireland. Oh, said Jack. Thank you. So there's Jack. I think that's Aunt Bird and Uncle Fergal. And then there are some of his other cousins. Yeah. Right. We have a very important job for a very important guest, said Aunt Bird. We need you to fill this basket with shamrocks. The 3-leaf shamrock plant is the symbol of St. Patrick himself, and we couldn't have the party without it. Jack went into the woods to look for shamrocks. He looked and he looked, but he didn't see any shamrocks at all. They must be around here somewhere, thought Jack. He went deeper and deeper into the woods. The woods got thicker. The woods got darker. Jack was about to give up when he looked at the ground and saw shamrocks everywhere. He would have his basket filled in no time. Look, there are mice up. These mushrooms are pretty big to them. Oh, who is that? What was that? Asked Jack. He looked around, but he didn't see anything. You see anything? Maybe it's that? No. Oh, what? Someone up there. I think that's the leprechaun. Yeah. Tee-hee-hee-to-ho-ho. There was that sound again. Jack turned and saw a little man with a red beard in a green suit and green hat. And the little man had a wooden club in one hand and a pot of gold in the other. It's Liam the Leprechaun. As you can see, he's kind of big here, but that is because this is a mouse, so it's actually really small. That must be Liam the Leprechaun, Jack thought. That pot of gold will be mine if I can catch him. But with a tee-hee-hee and a to-ho-ho, Liam sprinted away. Hey, Jack yelled. Hold on! Jack ran as fast as he could. Jack chased Liam the Leprechaun out of the woods. He chased him across the fields, over the streams, and all the way back to the village. Jack jumped over a wall, and suddenly Oh no, I think he's gonna drop all of his clovers. Or his shamrocks. Crash! He ran smack into someone, but it wasn't Liam the leprechaun. Uncle Fergal, said Jack. Well, of course it is me, Uncle Fergal said. Where are you off to when there's a party waiting at home? I was trying to catch a leprechaun, Jack said. Leprechauns? Faith and Begorra. Uncle Fergal laughed. Don't you have better things to do than chase after imaginary creatures? Don't you know what day it is today? It's St. Patrick's Day. March 17th is the biggest of the celebrations in Ireland, continued Uncle Fergal. Now, enough of this foolish. Come with me. But, Jack began, Uncle Fergal didn't even hear him. The whole town's getting ready for St. Patrick's Day, said Uncle Fergal. There's Mrs. Murphy baking the traditional soda bread. Oh, there she is. And that's Mrs. O'Brien getting the children ready for the parade. There's Mrs. O'Brien, and there are the children at the parade. Miss Fitzgerald is knitting a special green sweater. Where is she? No, green sweater. I think this is her, because I think that's the sweater in there. All right. Green is the national color of Ireland, you know. But what about leprechauns? Asked Jack. What about the pots of gold? Ah, you silly mouse, said Uncle Fergal. There are no such things as leprechauns. But then, out of the corner of his eye, Jack saw Liam. Liam the leprechaun. There he is, Jack yelled as he ran away. Hee oh, sang Liam the leprechaun. Then suddenly, Liam tripped and fell. Gotcha, said Jack as he grabbed Liam's arm. But Jack the leprechaun just laughed. Why, Jack, don't you recognize your own cousin? Jack looked closer. It wasn't Liam at all, but his cousin Sean. Ah. Before he knew it, Jack was laughing too. Suddenly, Sean stopped laughing. We're late for the party, he said. And I still have to go get the shamrocks, Jack said. Let's go. Off they ran, picking as many shamrocks as they could find on the way. Oh, so his cousin was just playing a prank on him. When they got to the house, the party was just starting. There was music and dancing and lots of food. The mayor played the traditional St. Patrick's Day song, Danny Boy, on his harp, and everyone clapped. Do you know that song? There's the mayor playing it on his phone. It goes like, oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Oh, something like that. I used to play it on trumpet. But it's a pretty good song if you're someone else singing it. I'm sure you could probably do a better job singing of it. When they got to the house, just read that page. This is the last one here. Just before the sun went down, there was a knock at the door. There on the steps was a surprise. It was the next best thing to a pot of gold. It was a pot of cheese from Liam the leprechaun. Oh, because they're mice. Happy St. Patrick's Day. That was very nice. All right, everyone. Well, let's get ready for our craft. And then after that, I will say goodbye for the week. All right. Give me 1 second to get all my stuff ready. Hi, everyone. I'm back for our craft. Sorry, it took me a little while. I had to get the supplies. So what you're going to need is a paint, some newspaper, a pajama shirt of some sort, and some places, and a piece of paper. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little finger painting here. I was thinking about getting a glove, but that didn't end up happening. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put some paint on this piece of paper, and then we're going to put our hand in the paint like this, right? We're going to put it on the paper. So watch me first. We'll stick it on there for a little while. So put my hand with paint on it, and then I take the paint off. I take my hand off so the paint stays there. Get a little bit more paint. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn the paper and put another handprint. I'll be able to see when I finish this bit. Okay. Then we have 2. Let's work on that 3rd now. End up this nice. And we have it like this. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to put our hands together like this. We're going to get one last one. We're going to put it kind of in the middle with a little bit at the bottom. So I'm going to be putting it right about our hand right about here. And when we take it off, it looks like this. We'll add a little bit here to make sure that it really sticks out. The little things on the side. A little bit. Over around the paint a little bit to try to make it look a little nicer if you want. I'm trying to make mine look a little rounder. And then do with the last little bit. So we'll finger paint a little stem on. Then I think that should be just about it. So here's my little clover, my little shamrock. Mine's only 3 leaves. You could do it and make 4 leaves instead. You'd have to figure out where to put the different, where your different handprints would go. I think it would probably, you could turn it like this and then just put the stem here. Coming out from the diagonal. But I'm okay with only having a 3-leaf clover instead of a 4-leaf lucky clover. All right. Well, next week, I think is Passover. So I'll see you all for that. Bye, everyone.